Your alternative news for Wednesday, the 31st of July. Much of India is in an uproar after a hotel there has been fined about £300 for illegally charging tax on a tax-exempt fruit platter. The plate in question only contained 2 bananas. The Bollywood star who had ordered it said in a tweet that at £5, the bananas were clearly too good for him. Eagle-eyed people noted the tax on the room service bill, which is when the hotel got into trouble. Your alternative weather. After heavy rains have caused much of the United Kingdom to become a bit more than damp, wellies are the footwear of choice. No need for them if you're safely at home enjoying online with LJTV. So on with the show.
Listening to Online here on LJTV. The Wednesday Wander in a wacky world of wonders. Thank you to your time.
Hello and welcome to Online, episode 32 of Online. Where does the week go? I just don't know. But I'd like to debate it for much longer, but we've got a show to get going. So, what have we got in store? Our album in focus this week comes from Carole King. It's Tapestry. We'll be telling you more about that album and hearing 2 songs on today's show. We've got brand new music to be sharing with you, so 4 brand new songs on today's show to be sharing with you, and all of the information will be available on the Twitter feed. I'll be telling you about the address later on, no doubt. We've also got Giggle Bites, where we talk to you about the world of gaming, so streaming, tech news and gaming news, all to come, as well as highlighting some of the brand new games available for this week. I'll also be looking at the charts of yesteryear, playing some excellent music, and there's a fascinating fact and plenty of other features to be found on a Wednesday show. Thank you so much for joining me here on LJTV. Bless your cotton socks, and hello, a special hello to M and Devil Sun in the chat at the moment. Thank you so much for all of your sparks, your hosts and your company. It means the world to me, it really does. So, with Tapestry as our album in focus, that will be dictating some of the artists, but not all. I like to keep myself and you guessing, as we've got some great music in store. So, I did have the song that we were going to start off with, and here it is. And it is One to Another. Just couldn't remember the name of the song. Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for the hosts, most appreciated. The hosts with the most. So let's get the show started properly.
And a change in the way to live. Please meet you, hoping never see you. I'll be at ease, watching you sleep, watching you smile. Lord, I adore you, always looking for you, and I'll be there wherever you need me.
I've already got a huge smile on my face. I want to say a big thank you for joining me. It's already a successful stream so far. It's been wonderful having your company, and we've got some wonderful things in store. Big shout outs to everyone in the chat. And get some follows going around too. There's some wonderful people in the chat.
Trust is for believers and hope can keep the faith. I don't need you, I can't buy you, I can't hurt you. Want to know her? You see my brother always giving me yes if you bring. Start to knock you. It's good to rock you, and I'll do it the best that I can. I hear a day's coming, it's sweeter every year. Tomorrow could be too easy, and today's gonna be too near. Trust is for believers, and love can keep the faith. I don't need you, I can't buy you, I can't hurt you. Stand by my accusations, don't need no bias. I know you wanna keep it waiting, I think it's morning that you mind. Know that it's not to leave, but it's not to never have. Can you please come out your window, you can play with all my love, yeah. Box up all my records, and a head full of ideas, and a handful of escape routes, gotta ban you.
So that is one to another to start off today's show. It's episode 32 of Online, and we've got plenty in store. Lots of features to be found on a Wednesday, wonderful Wednesday walkthrough, and also trying to be a bit of an escape from the worries of the working week. So we've got the charts of yesteryear to return to, and a big thank you to everybody for joining and supporting me on the stream. It means the world to me, it really does, and I hope everybody's well. I will be trying to catch up with chat as the show goes on, but there is lots of features on a Wednesday show, so you will understand why I may be missing out a few bits and bobs as we go through them. So yes, back to 1974, this week of 1974, for our brand new entry into the chart of back then, of our charts of yesteryear. Mud went into the charts at number 26 with a song called Rocket. It would peak out with another 20, after another 20 spaces were climbed, it would peak out at number 6 in 1974 for Mud. And here it is.
Now this here's the story of Abigail Rocket Blast. This one's silly. Oh, well, you changed your name to Abigail Rocket Blast. And then they lined you up for the Hollywood movie cast. With all them big cigars and motor cars, you thought you was a movie star. But Abigail Blast, you sure are changing fast. You were just 16, you were knocking at the age's door. Because the silver screen is what a movie queen lives for. They gave you mints and dreams and bits and greens. You threw away your old blue jeans. But Abigail Blast, they're using you. Come on now, rocket.
You're very close, but it's retro is how it's pronounced. It's not old as fuck or something like that. It's retro. It's got a vintage style to it.
Give me 3, 2, 1, now rock it. I'm gonna launch you soon.
Hi Tina, thank you very much for joining us in stream. We've got some great features coming up. After this track from the charts of yesteryear, we're going to be moving to some brand new music in just a moment, but we've got our album in focus, which comes from Carole King. It is the Grammy Award-winning album from 1971, so it won the 1972 Grammy Award for Tapestry. We'll be telling you more facts like that throughout today's show.
I'm getting rid of Abigail Blast. I'll call you rocket, forget the past.
Come on, come on, come on, come on now, rock it. I'm gonna launch you soon. Come on now, rock it. You're gonna raise the moon. You're gonna take off soon. You're gonna reach the moon. You know your time will come. I'll give you 3, 2, 1, now rock it. I'm gonna launch you soon.
Hello, bruv. I thought I'd just check before I said anything. Hello, bruv. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining me. We're moving to something brand new in a moment, but we were just talking about the fact that this was brand new into the charts of 1974 for Mud. It's Rocket, but they say Abigail. It's a story about Abigail Rocket Blast. Is her name. That's what she changed it to anyway.
Come on, come on, come on now, rock it. You're gonna raise the moon. Come on, come on, come on now, rock it. I'm gonna launch you soon. Well, rock it.
And there is no argument to say that the song was influenced by Elvis Presley at all. So that was brand new back then. We'll have more from the charts later on in the show, but we move to something even more up to date, brand new for this week, as Eli Moon from London has released a brand new song. I'd like to share it with you. It's entitled "Feeling Right," although it does the title makes me think of "Feeling Alright," but anyway, it's not that song. It's not a cover of that song. It's an original track from this South London artist. Have a listen, see what you think. I'll also be posting up a link directly to the artist via my Twitter feed, so if you want to make your way to @LJAY_TV, you will find all the information about the show posted as we go along. So if you want to find out about this artist, that would be my recommendation as a first port of call. Of course, a retweet, a like, all helps to add a little bit of warmth into other people's hearts. So if you've got the time, if you've got the inclination, then feel free to do so. Here is Feeling Right.
She sits on my shoulder, telling me I'll be fine. I feel 100 years older when I open my eyes. I want to evolve, but I'm stopped every time. A message that's golden gets into my mind. Feels like something new, like it has traveled in time. I want to evolve, but she likes to remind. Oh no, no, don't take away my life. Talking to myself to stay in line, but she likes to make love to the fact that she's in my mind. My mind. Take me in my body, but don't take my mind. I just got my vision back, don't wanna be blind. Take all that you want, and if nothing is right, 'cause the world won't take me on my own. I enter the space that can't really be found until you're vibrating at the speed of a sound. I start to evolve, but you're calling me now. Oh no, no, don't take away my life. Talking to myself to stay in line, but she likes to make love to the fact that she's
So this is some brand new music here. This is Eli Moon from South London with Feeling Right. Yes, we've got some more brand new music still coming up on today's show. We've got an album in focus, and I also wanted to focus in on the fact of the question of who has the greater beard. Well, he's got a stylized, a two-toned, different colour beard. I don't go for the two-toned, different colour beards at the moment. But age might get me there. You never know. But I appreciate all of the compliments. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate that. And I think maybe the person who said a better beard in his stream, it might have been me. So that was brand new music. We've got more brand new music in store. If you were particularly taken by that track Feeling Right by Eli Moon, then make your way to the Twitter feed for more information. It would be the first port of call I would recommend for more research. Although I do keep fairly vague about the new music, I wait for them to become legends before I worry about memorising anything about their albums or their history. So yes, I like to let the music do most of its talking. We've got some retro adverts coming up very shortly. We've got a fascinating fact. We've also got the album in focus to be focusing in on and telling you more information about. It is from Carole King, and we'll also have a official link to that album in focus. So there is plenty of features, and that's just within the next 20 minutes or so. So there's plenty still to come after those jam-packed 20 minutes too. But before we get to any of that, let's enjoy some milk together. I've got milk here, and it's from Theme Park.
Money's exchanged, money remains. I kinda let it till something starts to change. I've seen her dancing, I've seen her cry. I got two hands, gonna give this one a try. We tie our hopes to this figure alone. We tie our dreams to these lies and lies. We're telling lies, we're telling tonight. They've got me thinking everything's alright.
As a phrase, I've got to be down with that. My bearded secrets, that's brilliant. I love that one. That got me. Spot on, bruv.
Smiles exchanged, money remains. We tie our hopes to this figure alone. We tie our dreams to these lies and lies. We're telling lies, we're telling tonight. They've got me thinking everything's alright. Maybe one day we'll return to find it all the things. Watch the smoke in silence against the darkening sky. And we'll turn our backs as the sunset falls. Down a tree line road. Lights still coming. Through the lies we're telling, lies we're telling tonight. They've got me thinking everything's alright. We tie our hopes to this figure alone. We tie our dreams to these lies and lies.
Okay, so we're approaching the first retro adverts of today's show. I change them each week, so if you miss any of them this week, you will catch them again, or you can catch them again on Friday's web show. They're not the only shows that I do on stream, as I also do a lot of gaming as well. So if you're brand new to the stream, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. All of your support in whichever way you care to show it means the world to me. It really does. Thank you so much. We've got a little break to take, and then we'll be back with a fascinating fact. So don't go changing. We love you just the way you are.
I recommend the porridge, the halibut is nice, you can say without any reply. But show 'em Kellogg's bran flakes, that's a different matter, they'll all reply. They're tasty, tasty, very, very tasty, they're very tasty. Would you care for yoghurt? The green flakes are nice, the continental breakfast ain't bad. But show 'em Kellogg's bran flakes, that's a different matter, they'll all reply. They're tasty, tasty, very, very tasty.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes. You know, this could catch on.
Morning time and we're awake. Brush our teeth in new Colgate. Colgate Blue Minty Gel. Colgate Blue Minty Gel. It's a brilliant new toothpaste. Like the colour, love the taste. I've got Blue Minty Gel. Mum and Dad use it as well. Oh, what fun we'll have. Squeeze it on and off we go. Brushing twice a day. It's good for teeth as we all know. How we love the taste. It's from Colgate we can tell. Who believes such fun was doing lots of good as well.
Colgate New Blue Minty Gel. You'll love it. Nobody's working harder than Colgate for zero fillings.
You're listening to Online here on LJTV. A Wednesday Wander.
Oh,
in
I
a
need to sort my
wacky world of
headphones out.
wonders. Thank
That's
you
the
for
one.
your time.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the first retro advert break of today's show. We still have a few more in store. But we are now intending to fascinate you with fact. And we go back to 1878, not quite 1880s, but not far off. But 1878, the first telephone book was published. So it was necessary for us to collate telephone numbers at that point onward. Recommended ending, but in the book it contained a recommended ending for all telephone conversations to end with, "That is all." I just think that's great. I may start adopting that. So on telephone calls you may find, especially my brother who's in chat at the moment, he may find me ending with, "That is all." It's a fascinating fact. I'm sure you'll agree. We'll be backing it up with GIF on the Twitter feed. So if you want to make your way to @LJAY_TV, I would certainly appreciate the follow or the retweet. But there will also be a GIF that will hopefully put a bit of a smile on your face too. We move to Dodgy, something a little dodgy next. In a Room is the song from Dodgy up next. But we've got the fascinating fact, not the fascinating fact, we've got the album in focus just around the corner. We've just had the fascinating fact. We've got Gigglebite in the second hour of the show with Remembering Retro, as well as brand new games to be talking about and more brand new music. So stay tuned to Online here on LJTV. Bless your cotton socks for joining me.
time to change. This has never come before. I'm waiting for you behind the door. She lies sleeping in a half-filled bed where eyes no longer study your emptiness. In a room there's only so much space. Just so much playing the loneliness. I've thrown away the key. I've gone and locked myself in for good. No one can reach me. No one hears my voice anymore. Not anymore.
So this is a little Dodgy we're enjoying. This is In a Room from Dodgy. You're listening to Online. It's episode 32 of Online, hosted by me, LJ. Thank you very much for joining me. We've got the album in focus straight after the rest of this song from Dodgy. And did I mention it was from Dodgy? Not sure.
Surely it will never end. It's time to change. This has never come before. I'm waiting for you behind the door. If we are together again, surely this will never end. If we are together again.
I do enjoy catching up a little later on chat. I do apologise, but I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, so I can't comment. Can't comment at all. But Philly's hat then? I don't know. Confused. I shall remain confused. Blissfully.
Surely this will never end.
You're listening to Online here on LJTV. A Wednesday wander in a wacky world of wonders. Thank you
And
for
I
your
should
time.
have turned the camera on straight away. So anyway, we're going to be moving to the album in focus. I needed to do this.
The album in focus. It's only the mother-loving album in focus, son. The album in the album in focus. It's only the mother-loving album in focus, son.
Okay, so we take that down to a nice talking level and we introduce you to, or remind you of, Tapestry from 1971, the winner of 4 Grammy Awards, I believe it was. I was just reading that on my facts a moment ago. It won many Grammy Awards and also the first for a female artist to win Best Song, I believe it was. This is from Carole King. It's Tapestry from 1971. It runs just under 45 minutes long and is a 5-star album. Carole had wrote many a song for many a huge artists, so Little Eva, Bobby Vee, The Drifters, The Monkees, Aretha Franklin, and a whole host of well-known names. Tapestry held the top spot in the American charts for 15 consecutive weeks, and the chart was just under, and was in the charts for just under 6 years. Don't know why, my brain just suddenly quit out on me there. That would be the dyslexic part trying to take over again. I tried to point it out before it points itself out, but I think it just got a little bit ahead of me there. So this is an excellent album. She has a connection to many an artist, so there will be an official link to the album in focus for this week coming up after we've heard You've Got a Friend, taken from Tapestry, our album in focus that we shall revisit on the next hour of today's show, as well as the next web show, which is on Friday. So there is more information still to come. Here it is. You got a friend. And anyone in stream today joining us and supporting us, you got a friend in me. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm in your debt.
And you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend.
I don't think you should jump on the Xbox. Treat it kindly. It's not one of those good rhymes that works with it. Treat it mean, keep it keen. Not with electrical equipment. I highly trying to steer you against jumping on your equipment if you want it to still work, unless of course it's done something to you. I had to say something, otherwise you wouldn't have had a friend in me. I would have let you just jump on your equipment. What kind of a guy would I be? I can't do that.
Keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, yeah, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you, and take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. You just call out my name.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that. That's not good news. I thought it was just that I'm going to jump on the Xbox kind of thing, but that might not be what they say in Philly. I'm not entirely sure. I hope it gets sorted soon, because that sucks.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend.
At this point in the song, you may notice the backing vocals from Joni Mitchell, as she's on this album as well.
Ain't it good to know? Ain't it good to know? Ain't it good to know? You've got a friend. Oh yeah, now you've got a friend. Yeah, baby, you got a friend.
the one I want to use.
Oh yeah, you've got
An excellent album, a 5-star album, a #1 album, a 4-time Grammy Award-winning album, and also the very first female artist to win Best Song of the Year for 1971. Although the Grammy was awarded in 1972. That's just the way Grammys work, though. So we've got an official link to the album in focus, Tapestry from 1971, which I can highly recommend that either you dig out of your collection and add back into the mix, or you go and seek out your copy, as no doubt it is out there waiting for you somewhere. So we've got an official link to it. The album, I was talking about the fact that Carol has worked with many different artists throughout her career, and there is also the big connection to this next artist, so much so that they knew each other in high school, and in, I don't suppose it being in high school, it was in the biblical sense. I was going to say in the biblical sense. They were boyfriend and girlfriend in high school. Neil Sedaka and Carole King also worked quite closely at the very early ages of both of their career as well. So here is a song entitled Oh Carol, from her ex-boyfriend, Carole King's ex-boyfriend, called Oh Carol. I don't know whether there's any connection there, but here is the official link.
Oh, Carol, I am but a fool. Darling, I love you, though you treat me cruel. You hurt me, and you make me cry. But if you leave me, I will surely die. Darling, there will never be another, 'cause I love you so. Don't ever
Well
leave
played,
me.
I do like that one. It has not been confirmed in surname too, but also she had changed her name quite a few times, as Carole King has been married more than once. I suppose we can also point out that she's been divorced more than once as well, though.
Oh, Carol, I am but a fool. Darling, I love you, though you treat me cruel. You hurt me, and you make me cry. But if you leave me, I will surely die.
Okay, I'm going to have to jump in here. I will not be playing songs for everybody. I will be playing songs that will keep you guessing. So sometimes you may not like the song that's playing, but then the very next song may be the one for you, as it's an alternative show. I used to say an alternative radio show, but that's going back a little while now. But yes, it may not be your vibe, but it is the official link to the album in focus, and it's 12 seconds left on it anyway. That was Neil Sedaka with Oh Carol, and we connect that to Tapestry from 1971 from Carole King, who was dating Neil Sedaka whilst in high school. So we now move to talk to you about the new movies. I just need the information and the music to play. So let's get started with what's happening on DVDs and Blu-rays, or the downloadable new releases that you can find in the store, virtually and real, now. Not everything is going to be for everybody. That's what my point is that I do an I said do I do an alternative show. So as I say, it may not be your cup of tea every time, but I do also play a lot of metal. Maybe a Friday show, I will be proving that as well. But I've got an eclectic mix on every set that I ever do. I always have too many songs for the record bag, and I'm never entirely sure what's going to be next. I can tell you though that there will be some brand new music to follow what we're talking about now, which is the new DVDs and Blu-rays available in store for you to have and to hold. So we're going to start off with this one here, which is Missing Link. It is a PG rated movie, and it is an explorer set out to find a mythical monster, or the missing link between apes and humans, which is the way it no doubt will be lined out in the movie. Here is the trailer. It is without sound, so I can do all my talky bits. So if you want to find out more about them, maybe even watch this trailer here with all of its glorious sound, then I will be posting the link for the Missing Link on my Twitter feed at LJAY_TV. That will be my suggestion for the first port of call for more research. But that isn't the only movie we're talking about, and we will be playing the rest of the trailers during the next couple of songs as well, so keep that in mind. We are moving to Hail Satan. I have to say it like that because there is actually a question mark at the end of the title of this sort of documentary. So what is it about? It's a funny documentary, so I'm not entirely sure if it's a spoof documentary. I think it may be. I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and say it might be a spoof. Find out more about this, but we will be playing the trailer in a moment, which is a thought-provoking documentary, an insight into the powers that be of media and the media savvy. So I should have pointed out that the Missing Link had a 7.5 with an age rating of PG. I think I said that. Well, this has a 7.3 rating and is age rated at 15. So that would be for Hail Satan. And that will be coming up after this trailer in just a moment. So last but not least, we have Alta. I'm not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing Alita Battle Angel. Is age rated at 12, and it is about a cyborg who wakes up with a new body and struggles to find out who she really is. It is the top pick for this week. It has a rating, or R rating, is 8.9, and do remember it is a 12 rated movie, so it will be different across the borders wherever it is that you're watching, so do check out the rating wherever you're watching from. Do check out the ratings for wherever it is you come from, as that will be the best option I could say. It's the only way I could say it. So they are the movies. We've got another trailer coming up now. This is Hail Satan in the bottom corner here. We'll be playing that after, as we enjoy this brand new song. It's entitled Hospital Radio. It is from Mystery Jets. They are from London. Have a listen, see what you think. If you're interested in any of these new things that I've been talking about for the last few minutes, then make your way to the Twitter feed, as there are links, a glory to all of them, or at least they will be once I hit play on this new track. So let's get on with that.
We're listening to Online here on LJTV. The Wednesday Wander in a wacky world of wonders. Thank you for your time.
understand. When you lay in your bed, all cold and bleeding, wondering what the hell it all went wrong. Praying that your pride still holds some meaning. We won't be the spell at the end of your tongue. Hours turn into seasons as you wait around till you die. Howling out for Jesus, but he waves and walks on by. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm reaching out a
So, this is the brand new music, or the second instalment of the brand new music on today's show. You're listening to Online episode 32, hosted by me, LJ, and it's on the channel that's called LJ or LJ TV, depending on which streaming channel you're watching it through. As I am a multi-platform streamer, I think is the way to say it. I don't know. We're roughly coming to an end of the first hour of today's show, but don't worry, there is still plenty of fun in the second hour to still come. And there is also the start of the third hour with LJ After 8. So there is plenty of features, and they all have names. I'll be pointing them out throughout the next hour of today's show. But we will be back to the album in focus. I've got one more song between us and the very effective... maybe two more songs before we hit the top of the hour. So, the very effective news and weather at the top of the hour, and then we'll be back with plenty more in the second hour. More retro adverts as well to look forward to. They are pretty funny this week. I'm a fan of them. So, I embrace the vintage and retro style. Just in case we have any computer faults or glitches, that will just hopefully be feeding directly into the vibe that we're already embracing anyway, with the TV and the retro stuff. That music was that we've just enjoyed was Mystery Jets, who are from London, and they have been around now for quite some time. That is their brand new offering, and it is called Hospital Radio. If you want to find out more about them, then make your way to the Twitter feed, my Twitter feed in particular, where I have a link to theirs. You don't have to follow or even like anything that I do, but maybe you want to find a quick and easy way to them. And a share and like to anyone is what it's all about. It's one of the reasons why I do it, as it's about sharing things that may not have caught, may have passed you by somewhere along the line, which is why we go back to the charts of yesteryear, as well as looking at things that are right up to date. So we move to the B-Roads with some more Milk, although this is a band this time around whose name is The Milk. Earlier on we heard from Theme Park with their song called Milk. That kind of thing would have worked perfectly for a 2 for Friday, which is two back-to-back songs that have some sort of logical link to them, like Milk would have worked with those two songs, but that's not until Friday, and let's not get too far ahead of ourselves now. Here is B-Roads. Or at least it better be. There you go. It better be. All puns intended. Even the accidental ones. What am I talking about? Especially the accidental ones.
Police wanna talk to me about some SMT, and I owe like 100 pounds to 1,000
cats around, and I'm known to a biker gang. There's a next neck they're gonna hang, so we gotta stick to the B roads. Oh, but they can't cheat and they can't burn your clothes. It only takes 1 minute to blacken up your soul. Now, mama told me you gotta live on the run. Yeah, you'll die young. My mama told me you gotta live on the run. Oh, you'll die young. Citibank put a gun on me. I never paid for my seat to see. And they sent like 100 guys, so I dare not shut my eyes. And I'm known to a biker gang. There's a next neck they're gonna hang, so we gotta stick to the B roads. Oh, but they can't cheat and they can't burn your clothes. It only takes 1 minute to blacken up your soul. Mama told me you gotta live on the run. Oh, you'll die young. Mama told me you gotta live on the run. Oh, you'll die young. And I'm known to a biker gang. There's a next neck they're gonna hang. We gotta stick to the B roads. Oh, but they can't cheat and they can't burn your clothes. It only takes 1 minute to blacken up your soul. She sat me down, said, boy, don't cry, 'cause one day everybody gotta die. Mama told me you gotta live on the run. Oh, you'll die young. Mama told me you gotta live on the run. Oh, you'll die young. Mama, she told me I'd be running, boy. Come on. Mama, she told me I'd be running, boy.
So yes, I'm a fan of this song. It's called, because of the part that is the B roads. It's the alternative route to take. So I'm definitely a fan of the alternative route. As you may have already established, this is an alternative music show. Thank you very much for joining me for Online, the 32nd ever episode of Online. And we are available on Mixer, Twitch and YouTube. So whichever way you are joining us today, thank you very much and bless your cotton socks for all of your involvement and support. We finish off this first hour with a song from 1965. It was also used for the Jackass movie. I don't know which one. 1, 2, 3, maybe one of the other ones. I'm not entirely sure. But it was definitely used on one of them. And it is from Roger Miller. It's from his second studio album. It was the same album that had King of the Road, that massive hit from Roger Miller. On that album, as well as Wackadoo. Wackadoo was on this album too, but we move to You Can't Roller Skate in a Buffalo Herd, never released as a single.
You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. Can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. You can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. Can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. Can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Well, you can't go swimming in a baseball pool. You can't go swimming in a baseball pool. You can't go swimming in a baseball pool. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. You can't change film with a kid on your back. Can't change film with the kid on your back. Can't change film with the kid on your back. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. You can't drive around with a tiger in your car. Can't drive around with a tiger in your car. You can't drive around with a tiger in your car. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Well, you can't roller skate in the buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in the buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in the buffalo herd. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. You can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. You can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. You can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. But you can be happy if you've a mind to.
Okay, we'll be back in
You
just a
can't roller
moment.
skate
We'll have
in
a
the
short
buffalo
messages
herd.
of
You
news
can't
and
roller
weather,
skate
and then we'll be back with the second hour of today's show. That was Roger Miller finishing off the first hour with "You Can't Roller Skate in a Buffalo Herd." Do it, do it, do it. That's my favourite part, the way he does do it, do it. Anyway, we're going to move on to the news.
Your alternative news for Wednesday, the 31st of July. Much of India is in an uproar after a hotel there has been fined about £300 for illegally charging tax on a tax-exempt fruit platter. The plate in question only contained 2 bananas. The Bollywood star who had ordered it said in a tweet that at £5, the bananas were clearly too good for him. Eagle-eyed people noted the tax on the room service bill, which is when the hotel got into trouble. Your alternative weather. After heavy rains have caused much of the United Kingdom to become a bit more than damp, wellies are the footwear of choice. No need for them if you're safely at home enjoying online with LJ TV. So on with the show.
You're listening to Online here on LJTV. A Wednesday wander in a wacky world of wonders. Thank you for your time.
So where does the week go? I just don't know. I would like to debate it longer, but we've got to start the show, or should I say, restart the show. Easy for me to say. That was roughly about what I said in the first hour of today's show. You're listening to, or watching and listening to. Wow, my radio training comes bursting through, doesn't it? So you're here watching online here. Episode 32. Wow, my brain's just completely fried. Didn't take much. We're going to start off this hour with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Sick Love. We're going to be moving back to the charts of yesteryear for our second song of this second hour. We're also going to have some more brand new music to be sharing with you. But this hour we talk to you about Gigabyte, so the world of tech. So we've got tech, gaming and streaming news coming up, and also the brand new games. We want to highlight some new releases for this week, and we look back to the excellent gaming of our history. So we move back to remind us in remembering retro of where we've come from in gaming and how we've got to this gaming utopia that we now call, or take for granted, and call home. So that will be also the inspiration for Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday is on a Thursday, and it's got a sort of throwback vibe to it. I'll tell you more later on. So stay tuned for that too. So we start off with Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I'm going to take a moment to breathe, relax, and then I'll be back with you to make more mistakes. All of them completely planned. If you believe that, you'll pretty much believe anything.
Say goodbye to house and everything you own. California dreaming is a petty bone. LA screaming, you're my home. Vanity is blasted, but it's really fair. I could smell the Prozac in your pretty hair. Got a lot of fans, but is anyone there? I don't know, but it's been said. Your heart is stronger than your head. And this location is my home. Stick and move, you're living in a quick world. Got a heavy life for such a tiny girl. Born into it, that's for sure. Rivers get connected so much stronger than expected. Well, sick love come to wash us away. Living the perspective, how your vision gets corrected. And sick love is my modern cliche. People talk and tell you what you want to hear. Do you really need another souvenir? Superheroes tend to disappear. A fame is just a trick, you see an empty glass. Leave you feeling thirsty and so very fast. Chance to tell my baby it'll be your last. I don't know, but it's been said. Your heart is stronger than your head. This location is my home. Rivers get connected so much stronger than expected. Well, sick love comes to wash us away. Prisoned of perspective, how your vision gets corrected. And sick love is my modern cliche.
So, Red Hot Chili Peppers with a song that is, in my opinion, sort of a toy box type song. It has a very sort of delicate feel to it, this track. This is Sick Love, taken from their Getaway album. This is Red Hot Chili Peppers, as I think I've already said. Yep, we've said it anyway. We've got the chance of yesteryear to move toward, and in the first hour we listened to, or we shared and enjoyed together, a song from 1974, where we move back to 1974 once again, which was brand new into this week's chart in just a moment. But we have more brand new music to follow that. There is more retro adverts, as well as returning to our album in focus. If you missed the first hour of today's show, don't worry, we won't hold it against you. But the album in focus was already announced, and we've already had a song from it. And that album is the second studio album from Carole King, and released back in 1971. It is the 4-time Grammy Award winning album. So we'll be telling you more about Tapestry on the half an hour mark-ish of the show. Then there is, of course, to look forward to LJ After 8, which is a little bit more unplanned, believe it or not. It was more of an unplanned part of the show after 8 o'clock. That's embracing our new horizons and our newfound home on these streaming platforms. If you're wondering, in preference, I stream on Mixer. Second place would be Twitch, and then underneath the bottom would be YouTube, in particular because I seem to get lots of issues from YouTube and nowhere else. In the same way from YouTube, do I get those issues on anywhere else, is what I'm trying to say. Struggling and trying to say. Back to 1974, this very week saw Sparks enter the chart in at number 17 with Amateur Hour. And the irony is not missed on me, stumbling over my words and then introducing a song called Amateur Hour. That's not missed on me. The delicious irony is never missed.
time you put in practice what you read about. Well, she can show you what you must do to be more like people better than you. Love that you love goes always on when it's a girl you know. She lets you know. How that you love goes always on when it's a girl you know. She tells you so. School tops to go topless in. While we sit and cover as they blossom on our chins. Our voices change after a rapid pace. I could start a song at tenor and then in our space. So choose your partners, everyone. If you hesitate, the good ones are gone. How that your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She lets you know. How that your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She tells you so. Natural goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She lets you know. Dance, laugh, wine, dine, talk and sing. But blues cannot replace what is the real thing. It's a lot like playing the violin. You cannot start off and be a routine and you win. So long as your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She lets you know. How that your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She tells me so. How that your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She lets you know. How that your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She tells me so. How that your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She tells you so. How that your love goes on and on when it's a girl you know. She lets you know.
So, that is a track that was brand new into this week's chart of 1974 for the strange duo that is Sparks. They were strange then, they're strange now, and they will forever be known as the strange pair from Sparks. But that was Amateur Hour, a great track from an excellent album. That would peak out at some number in our charts and maybe other numbers in other charts. Vague enough? Cool. We're moving on to something brand new. This is a song from a band from Boston of the United States of America, in case you wanted to pin them down a little bit easier. I'm being very vague. I usually be very vague about the new music, mainly because I like to let the music do all of its talking, or most of the talking, as I do point out some bits and bobs. But most of the talking is done by the music. If you like this next track, make your way to the Twitter feed, as there will be a post and a link directly to this new artist. I don't know how to say their name, so that's one of the reasons why I'm stalling and why I'm not getting on with it. The name of the song is Deaf of Me. It is from, all in capital letters, P-V-R-I-S. Is it Pervs? Is it Pervis? Is it something along those lines? I'm not entirely sure. But this is also going to fulfill another feature on the show, as it's Too Naughty for Noise Radio is also going to be fulfilled by this track, as there is explicit content within. If you are of a delicate disposition, then thank you very much for joining us here on the stream, but this isn't the channel for you, I don't think, as we are an 18 plus rated stream, and there may be some 4-letter words, and I don't mean bike. Here is Deaf of Me from a Boston band with that weird name.
This love looks like a loaded gun, a noose around my neck or sweet poison. If it gets in the wrong hands, then we're fucked. 'Cause heaven knows what you do to me. Baby, you could be the death of me. Maybe I'm crazy. I know you tell you just. Baby, you could be the death of me. I'm falling faded.
I know, I was just thinking to myself, this is a very rocky song. Where is the devil's son when you need him? He was complaining a little bit about the lack of metal or rock. This is a little bit closer to a rocky song. It's brand new music that you're listening to at the moment. They are called Previs. I don't know, PVRIS, all in capitals, but there is Death of Me is the name of this song. There is a link to them on the Twitter feed for more information. We'll be picking up the tempo in this second hour of the show anyway, as there's some more rocky tracks in store. Why did I do that? Wrong button! That button! Luckily I don't still have the microphone up. I totally still have the microphone.
Cause I done lost what you done to me. Let you train me up and set me free. You could suffocate and let me breathe. You could be the death of me. I done lost what you done to me. Let you train me up and set me free. You could suffocate and let me breathe. You could be the death of me. Maybe I'm crazy. I know you tell you just. Baby, you could be the death of me. I'm falling faded and seeing angels. Baby, you could be the death of me. Maybe I'm crazy. I know you tell you just. Baby, you could be the death of me. I'm falling faded and seeing angels. Baby, you could be the death of me.
Oh, I completely forgot to keep an eye on that timer there for a split second. So we're going to be talking to you about the news stories from Gigabyte. So that is the streaming, tech and gaming news stories will be coming up within this hour of the show. As we get very technical in the second hour of a Wednesday show, we'll be talking to you about the brand new games as well as looking back at a retro classic, one worth remembering. Hence the title of Remembering Retro. Remembering Retro. That was brand new music, straight off the streets of Boston. Anyway, they are called PVRIS. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce their name, but I have posted a link on my Twitter feed, so at LJAY_TV for my Twitter feed, and subsequently theirs too. The name of the song is Death of Me, and it was, yes, you may have spotted, there was some explicit content in there, so that was also, let's play this bit.
Right now, it's too naughty. for
Almost
noise
right
radio.
now. It was right then, at least, anyway. So we may be playing some more explicit content later on in today's show. We've got a retro ad break coming up after we've heard from Black Lips, actually, with Mad Dog.
Listen to it closely cause it's scary and you might get confused. Choose the message wisely cause it just might be the last thing you do. Counterclockwise, open your eyes, lay you backwards, spinning faster, dodging like the devil, dodge a goddamn mad dog.
Mad dog. You alright? Mad dog.
Speaking in tongues, got the demons spitting that blood. Yeah, from the speakers, you're Satan in you.
The water in Mallorca doesn't taste like what it ought to.
No. The water in Majorca don't taste like what it ought to.
The water in Mallorca doesn't taste quite how it should.
Majorca!
Mallorca?
Majorca!
Mallorca?
Hi, Dale, any danger of some refreshment in here?
Here you are. Get your laughing gear in there.
Oh, golly. The water in Majorca.
What's that?
Don't taste like what it oughta. Oh, gosh. The water in Majorca don't taste like what it oughta.
She's cracked it. She's only cracked it.
You're absolutely wrong.
Heineken refreshes the parts what other beers cannot reach.
Hey, I bet he drinks Carling Black Label. Nah, he doesn't wash his underpants.
Your best bet for a fuller flavour.
There we go, just need to come back to the screen, there we go, finally get there in the end. Hopefully you've got sound as well. Right, we're talking to you about the gaming, the Gigabyte news story. So streaming, tech and gaming news stories within this hour, and we've just had the retro adverts from yesteryear. We've still got another bunch to share with you. One of my favourite ones are coming up in the next bunch, but that will probably be at the start of LJ After 8, so that is the segment of the show that comes along at no particular time. After 8, of course. Silly me to forget. Right, we're talking about streaming. This is the streaming news. Fans of a popular Chinese video blogger who called herself Highness Q Blue, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but my dyslexia usually gets ahead of me and helps me mispronounce everything left, right and centre. But there was a glitch which left her viewers stunned as the glitch revealed that she, in her streams, that she is not a glamorous girl, glamorous young girl. She's a middle-aged woman. So there was a filter on the stream itself, causing a glitch and causing lots of people to be quite stunned and amazed. I just thought it was a fascinating news story. Not quite a fascinating fact, but a fascinating news story at least anyway. Maybe in years to come that will be one of the fascinating facts as we look back towards them. But that was a streaming news story. We've got more from Gigabyte, plenty in store from Gigabyte as we talk about new games very shortly, but we've got an album in focus to return to before we get to any of that, as well as remembering retro and more brand new music still to come on today's show. So that was the first instalment of Gigabyte, and we move on to the guitarist. David Bowie's guitarist actually was Mick Ronson, amongst other people too, but the best known duo between them would have been Mick Ronson and David Bowie at the height of their powers. So this song sounds a little bit like Bowie, as I do believe he does provide some backing vocals on this track, so it sort of sounds like unreleased Bowie material. It is taken from the Play Loud album, I think it is. Anyway, it's Mick Ronson with Billy Porter. This song is in particular for one of my brothers, as I was talking about it on the weekend with him. Billy Porter from Mick Ronson.
Walking down an empty road, I saw a man in old grey clothes, a stranger. Passing by, he smiled at me, but when I looked, I realized the danger. For his eyes, they looked so empty and cold, and something told me that I'm gonna be rolled. In my pocket, only cents and dimes, but then for them, he'd gladly kill me. Walking fast, I managed just to slip around the corner. Thought she'd hear my running feet as I went pounding down the street like thunder. Well, I've never heard my heart beat so fast, and I've never been so scared in the past, and I never ever realized that this place could be evil to me. Billy Potter, tell me that I needed a gun. Billy Potter, when you wrote, you said that this place is fun. What have I done? Woo! Well, I've never heard my heart beat so fast, and I've never been so scared in the past, and I never ever realized that this place could be evil to me. Let me tell you. Now Billy's fun, Billy's tough, he's good to have when the going's right, he told me. Don't go out on your own at night, for if you do, you'll have to fight, stay by me. Now he's teaching me each and every day, and I think that in this place I might stay. And I never ever realized what a rough the guy would turn out to be. Billy Potter, you never told me that I needed a gun. Billy Potter, when you wrote, you said that this place is fun. What can be done? Billy Potter, you never told me that I needed a gun. Billy Potter, when you wrote, you said that this place was fun. Billy Potter, you never told me that I'd be on the run. Billy Potter, what would father say if he saw his son? Billy Potter, you never told me that I needed a gun. Billy Potter.
Not David Bowie, but I'm pretty sure he's involved in the recording of that. Billy Porter from Mick Ronson, as you may only know him as the guitarist for the David Bowie band of from the Spiders from Mars. I just couldn't say it for a split second there. We're going to move to the album in focus. Let me try and stop trying to remember those facts and move on to the facts that I'm meant to remember. It's the album in focus. It's only the album in focus.
The album in focus. It's only the mother-loving album in focus, son.
So, let's turn that down. Sorry, do apologise. So in the first hour we were talking to you and introducing you to the album in focus, maybe even just reminding you of the existence of the album in focus. From 1971, it is the second studio album from Carole King. It is a Grammy award-winning album and it is entitled Tapestry. It houses some very excellent songs and they are the ones we are choosing from today. So I would highly recommend you add this one back into your rotation or seek out a copy for yourself, as you can't go far wrong. This next track we won't be following with an official link to, but it was a hit in the States. I don't think it charted over here, although I'm not sure if she actually released it over here. Never mind and never worry about those ones for right now. Well, let's talk about the album in focus. The album was produced by Lou Adler. It is a 5-star album by the reviews of AllMusic. That's where I look to back up what it is I'm pointing out about the albums. So there is plenty of great artists that is linked to Carole King, and we had the official link via Neil Sedaka in the first hour. Controversial, if not only that, but also an official link to the album focus. We were talking about the link to some of the great artists of all time that Carole has worked with: Aretha Franklin, the Monkees, Bobby Vee, and many, many more. The album won 4 Grammy Awards, and it also marked a huge change for the Grammys, as this was the first album, or she was the first female writer to win Song of the Year Grammy. So that was a big change for what was going on in the Grammys in 1972. The friends on the album is James Taylor as well as Joni Mitchell, and I point it out in that sense as because You've Got a Friend was the song we heard in the first hour. We now move to the second song we're going to take from this excellent album. I think this song peaked in the American charts at somewhere around number 14, but the reason I'm pointing it out now is because I'm going to hopefully get you to stick around and find out whether I was right or wrong. Going from memory for Smack Water Jack from the excellent album in focus for this week, which is Tapestry from Carole King.
Now Smack Water Jack, he bought a shotgun, 'cause he was in the mood for a little confrontation. He just let it all hang loose. He didn't think about the noose. He couldn't take no more abuse, so he shot down the congregation. You can't talk to a man with a shotgun in his hand. Shotgun. Now Big Jim the Chief stood for law and order. He called for the guard to come and surround the border. Now from his bulldog mouth, as he led the forces out, came the cry, we got to ride to clean up the streets for our wives and our daughters. Oh, no, no. You can't talk to a man when he don't wanna understand. Oh, no, 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 no. The account of the capture wasn't in the papers, but you know they hang those Smack right then instead of later. You know the people were quite pleased, 'cause the outlaw had been seized, and on the whole it was a very good year for the undertaker. You know you can't talk to a man with a shotgun in his hand. A shotgun in his hand. Smack Water Jack for a shotgun. Yeah, Smack Water Jack for a shotgun. Oh, Smack Water Jack, yeah. Smack Water Jack, yeah. Talking about a Smack Water Jack, yeah. Shotgun. Talking about a Smack Water Jack, oh. Talking about Jack,
So that is the album in focus. The last song we've heard from, or we will hear from the album in focus on today's show, that was a Tapestry, or it was Carole King's Tapestry, the second studio album from her, released in 1971. That was also been covered by many artists throughout the years, most notably Quincy Jones also covered that song in 1971, so he got straight onto it straight away. That's a great track, and it was also, the fact I was going to point out is that the guitarist on that has worked with many an artist as well, so we could have gone from Daniel Korchmar, I'm probably mispronouncing that. We could have gone from him to Linda Ronstadt, James Taylor, David Crosby, Carole King, who we've just heard from, and many, David Cassidy, Graham Nash, Neil Young. He has worked with many famous artists as well, so we could have gone for our official link via that route, but there's many different directions to go in. But I played the other song first, and then it dictated that I wasn't going that direction, so we don't have an official link via any of those artists, but we will be moving to The Clash. Following that, I've got more news stories to be telling you about, and then we'll be getting into the brand new games. There is more new music to follow that, as well as remembering retro. I'll get around to all of it in due course. Here is Spanish Bombs. The Clash, taken from another brilliant album, London Calling. But that's not this week's album in focus. Maybe soon.
Spanish songs in Andalusia. The shooting sides in the days of 39. Oh, please leave the Vendana open. Federico Locker, dead and gone. Bullet holes in the cemetery walls. The black car of the Guardia of the Bear. Spanish bombs on the Costa Rica. I'm dying in on the DC-10 tonight. Spanish bombs, you have to get on it, Benito. Just the Greta, oh my God, a thong. Spanish bombs, you have to get on it, Benito. Just the Greta, oh my God, a thong. Spanish weeks in my disco casino. The freedom fighters died up on the hill. They sang the red flag, they want a black one. After they died it was Mockingbird Hill. Back from the buses, went up in flashes. Irish too, drenched in blood. Spanish bombs shatter the hotels. My senoritas those was met in the bar. Spanish bombs, just the glitter and bonito. Just the glitter, oh my God, a thong. Spanish bombs, just the glitter and bonito. Just the glitter, oh my God, a thong.
So we're going to use this break to talk to you about what's happening in the tech news. The tech news story is happening now, that's what's happening. And then we're going to be moving to talk to you about the brand new games. So this is part of Gigabyte, and drones carrying lab supplies between hospitals in Switzerland have been grounded after a crash only 50 yards away from a school. So I don't know what the metric equivalence is, but only 50 yards away from a preschool, let me get that correct, where children were playing. The drone crashed in a woodland area after a rope holding its emergency parachute, wasn't working correctly because it broke, and it caused it to crash, and that was only 50 yards. So basically it has caused enough of a panic to ground them all, and there is an investigation into proceedings into what happened, basically. I'm struggling with the words here, but we've got more news stories to tell you about. I'll give you a vague idea of in the world of gaming coming up, but we've got brand new games to talk to you about first. Let's enjoy the rest of Spanish Bombs from The Clash, and then we'll get right into that afterwards. And that one. There we go. We get there in the end. Let me turn that down to a comfortable talking level. And let's get into the brand new games. So last week we had our Remembering Retro. Was Wolfenstein, as we talked about the original Wolfenstein, and we had it playing the old. We had the old footage being played on stream as well. That's what we do for the Remembering Retro, and it was inspired by the fact that Wolfenstein has a new release to talk about for this week. So let's get our trailer, which I believe should be that one. Fingers crossed. I think that's it. Yep. Anyway. Wolfenstein Youngblood is the first game we're talking about today. It has received a rating of 7.5 from us, and it's a brand new cooperative style version of Wolfenstein. So keep that in mind if you're an old school version, old gamer of this series, an old fan of this series is what I'm struggling to say. So brand new co-op style, and you search for your father in Paris. This is all, of course, set in an alternative world where the Nazis have won the war. So that's why I think there's a poster or a banner that's hanging across the road that says Oktoberfest 1980 or something like that. But this is the trailer here in the bottom corner. We move on. It may be available on your console. Find out more information before you dash all your hopes, or before you throw any cash at the particular conundrum. We move on to our next trailer and also our next game. So, Paul Rami is, I believe, how I'm going to pronounce it for today. This is you need to dispatch foes with a huge array of guns and also unique weapons. So you need to choose wisely what you want to do. But this is it's an old school vibe from this shooter. So this is it in the bottom corner over here, and that is our Xbox release for this week. So it is available on the Xbox. Keep that in mind. It's probably not the only place it's available. It's just where we're highlighting it. So more information will be found on the Twitter feed, along with the trailers if you wanted to listen to them in all of their glory as I talk over them, so I don't need the music anyway. We move to our Switch release for this week, and that is Fire Emblem Tree Houses, and this is tech students to fight at one of the 3 royal houses, vanquish foes. And which house will you choose? So this has got a very high rating from us. This is an 8.2 from this Nintendo release. There is a long trailer for it, so it actually comes in about 4 minutes, this trailer. This next trailer is coming up. And that is also going to be available on the Twitter feed. So if you want to find out more about that, I think that one might be only available on the Switch. So here is the trailer. And we move to the very last one, and this is an absolute retro classic with a reboot in mind. It is going to be available across the board. After all, it is Tetris, and Tetris never stays in one home. Tetris Effect is the last game we're talking about on Gigabyte, and I'm not going to hit the start of the music again, we're just going to crack on with it. Tetris, it's a normal game of Tetris on steroids, basically, so it's a fantastic immersive 3D version of Tetris. Tetris Effect has got the highest score for this week with a 9 rating, a 9.0 rating from us. So they're the brand new games. If you want to find out more about them, I do post links on my Twitter feed at LJAY_TV. On with the show. Last week, our album in focus came from the legendary musician Elton John, and that was Honky Chateau. It's an excellent album. I can highly recommend you go and seek it out. But I thought I would return to that artist with a connection to The Who. So this is Elton John's cover of Pinball Wizard, which he was employed to cover for the movie of Tommy, the rock opera Tommy. Here is Pinball Wizard and the artist from behind the album in focus from last week. We've got more brand new music still in line, and we've got Remembering Retro. We mustn't forget.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Seoul down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays the bean pan ball. He stands like a statue, becomes part of the machine. Dealing on the bumpers, always playing clean. He plays by intuition, that digit counters fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays the bean pan ball. He's a pinball wizard, there has to be a twist. A pinball wizard's got such a silver wrist. How do you think he does? I don't know. What makes him so good? Oh, he ain't got no distractions, can't hear no buzzes and bells. Don't see lights are flashing, he plays by sense of smell. Always has a replay, never tilts at all. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays the bean pan ball. He can't beat me now, I've always been the champ. I know every trick, no freak's gonna beat my hand.
So if you're just joining us, and we're currently enjoying Elton John's version of Pinball Wizard, which was originally penned by The Who, for their rock opera Tommy. It's a little bit confusing, but this is his version of it. Anyway, there's a lot of interesting facts to tell you about this song, and it was, I believe I have got around to it being an album in focus recently. We may get back to it again at some point in the near future. We've got brand new music to follow this. We've got Remembering Retro to get around to, and then at the top of the hour we will be marking it with the news and the weather and moving into the very unplanned segment of the show, which is entitled LJ After 8, inspired by the chocolates of the same name, and also as anything can happen. So it's an After 8 situation. So we move to the last trailer of the games, and we enjoy the rest of Pinball Wizard from Reginald Dwight. I just spotted your suggestion. I do take all suggestions, so I won't be necessarily throwing it straight to the list. But if it's more rocky, it may be more perfect for Friday's show in particular, as we try to pick up the pace and encourage you to take on whatever it is the weekend's going to throw at you with the best attitude in mind. So we're going to. This is the trailer, or there's not very much gameplay from it. This is the trailer for Tetris. Expert, Evolved, I don't know, something along those lines. We were just talking about it a second ago. I'll check that fact in a minute. But we're moving to brand new music in just a second, and then there is plenty of other stuff too. I will take recommendations. I don't take orders. There we go. That's the way I should look at it. I also love taking a band that somebody would recommend and maybe look for something that maybe they didn't know as well. I do like an alternative selection. So you never know. You might have got me into a new song or a new band that I just didn't know about. As I don't claim to know it all. I claim to know some things. As a matter of fact, I don't even claim that very often. Right, brand new music up next. This is a collective that has many names that are worth pointing out in. They are called Africa Express, And I Can't Move is the name of the song. I believe instrumental in the creation of this band was Damon Albarn of Blur fame, and also of our album In Focus from just only 2 weeks ago. I'm going to leave that question mark there because I'm not great with things like that, so it was just recently at least anyway. Damon Albarn of Blur is also a member of this band. Here is brand new music for you, the last of the brand new music we've got in store for you at least anyway. If you want to find out more about this song, this band, or any of the above, make your way to @LJAY_TV, where you will find, or little lower dash, I don't know, maybe I'm mispronouncing how underscore should be, but anyway. If you want to find out, then I post on online via that, and that is the best way to be kept up to date with what it is I'm talking about. What a claim. Like anywhere could really be telling you what it is I'm talking about, other than myself. Not that I can do that either. New music, I Can't Move.
I dug away at the words last night, called them by my face. I ate and it tasted good. Wide open, I fall into your dug away at the words last night, called them by my face. I ate and it tasted good. Wide open, I fall into your. I'm stuck here in the middle. I can't move. I'm stuck here in the middle.
The last instalment of the brand new music on today's show, that was Africa Express, and there is 200 plus members of that band. Well-known names and artists all together, as well as no doubt people that you will be surprised to find out about. So the new artists in there too as well, in the mix. So that was called I Can't Move. If you want to find out more information about them, then feel free to do so. If you would like some help in to do so, then make your way to my Twitter feed, and that is @LJ_TV, where I post about all of this new stuff in a hope that we can help share what it is, find a signpost for what it is of today's show that you do like, if you liked anything. Let's not get too far carried away with ourselves. So we've got another news story, and then it's Remembering Retro after we've heard from Jim Croce, I'm never sure how I'm pronouncing his name, but we'll be listening to Big Bad Leroy Brown in just a moment. But we talk about a game that was featured in this week's Gigglebyte, the new release of Fire Emblem Three Houses. There is a update on its way. So Nintendo are replacing a voice actor in the new game Fire Emblem Three Houses after he admitted being emotionally abusive. So the role-playing game was only released last week, which is why we're talking about it on this week's show. I'm always a week behind as I like to find out, and not talking about the hype of the game, I like to find out about the game itself, and it's an informed decision of which games we are highlighting for you. So there is an update being rolled out for this game, and it is going to be replacing Chris Nossi's voice. I'm apologising for butchering his name. But reason I'm apologising for that because he's also apologised for his actions. He's apologised to his friends, his family, and fans, although I'm imagining they're dwindling right now. He has also said that he knows it may already be too late, but that he must change his ways. So there is a silver lining to be had on that sad news story from Nintendo. That is a gaming news story, and did I announce that we will be listening to this artist? Yes, I did, so here it is. We're going to be moving into Remembering Retro very shortly, and we're hitting the top of the hour with this track. So Remembering Retro's in the third unplanned place in the third hour of the show.
It's the baddest part of town, and if you go down there, you better just beware of a man named Leroy Brown. Now Leroy, more in trouble. Stand about 6'4". All the downtown ladies call him treetop lover. All the men just call him sir. And it's bad, bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. Better than old King Kong, and meaner than a junkyard dog. Now Leroy, he a gambler, and he like his fancy clothes, and he like wave heels and diamond rings in front of everybody's nose. He got a custom Continental, he got a Eldorado too. He got a 32 gun in his pocket for fun. He got a razor in his shoe. It's bad, 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 bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Better than old King Kong, meaner than a junkyard dog. Well, Friday, about a week ago, Leroy shooting dice, and at the edge of the bar sat a girl named Doris, and oh, that girl looked nice. Well, he cast his eyes upon her, and the trouble soon began.
So we've reached the bewitching hour of the show. It has just struck 8 o'clock. We will take a break for the very useless weather at the top of the hour. And that's the way it's designed. Don't worry about it. It is designed to be fairly useful for all situations, regardless of the weather. We've got the news and weather at the top of the hour, and then we'll have some more retro adverts in the second hour. But I'm going to be in the third hour. I'm going to be starting the third hour with a more heavy, rocky song in particular. I'm playing this as a dedication to Devil's son, who's in the chat room at the moment. I just spotted it. He said he was back. So stay tuned if you can. There will be a song dedicated for you. We were talking about this artist on Monday's show when you were in chat room, so that will be coming up in the start of LJ After 8, and we must get around to Remembering Retro. We can't forget.
Alternative news for Wednesday, the 31st of July. Much of India is in an uproar after a hotel there has been fined about £300 for illegally charging tax on a tax-exempt fruit platter. The plate in question only contained 2 bananas. The Bollywood star who had ordered it said in a tweet that at £5, the bananas were clearly too good for him. Eagle-eyed people noted the tax on the room service bill, which is when the hotel got into trouble. Your alternative weather. After heavy rains have caused much of the United Kingdom to become a bit more than damp, wellies are the footwear of choice. No need for them if you're safely at home enjoying online with LG TV. So on with the show.
You're listening to Online here on OJTV. A Wednesday wander in a wacky world of wonders. Thank you for your time.
You get your clothes off. I'll buy you a nice treat.
So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a few features still to look forward to, but it's this part of the show that it is a fairly random selection. Who knows where we shall end up. We will be starting off with 9 Inch Nails and a dedication to the dedicated The Devil's Son, who you'll find in the chat room. If you can give him a follow and see what he's up to on stream, I'm sure you will not regret it. So, with that said and done, we're going to be hearing from 9 Inch Nails to start off this hour, but we've got plenty of music still left on the set list. We've already had all of our brand new music for today's show. Our album in focus will not make a return until Friday's show, which is at the same time slot, between 6 and the unplanned 8-ish finish. So there is that to look forward to, but there is also a show tomorrow, which will be inspired by our gaming retrospective in just a moment. So Throwback Thursday has a connection to that, so I'll be telling you more about that in this hour. Normally it's in the second hour of the show, but you know what? It didn't make it, but that's what this whole part of the show is all about. Just getting around to other things. You can also ask me anything. Maybe I'll tell you the truth, maybe I'll make up some sort of falsity, but I'm certainly trying my best not to lie about things. So the whole idea is that if you want to ask me something, depending on how I feel, there may be a chance I might say, I don't think I can answer that one. So that's what I mean. I'll try not to lie and just tell you, I don't think I can answer that one. So, yes, on with the show. We start off with The Hand That Feeds.
You're keeping in step in the line. Got your chin held high and you feel just fine, 'cause you do what you're told. But inside your heart it is black and it's hollow and it's cold. Just how deep do you believe? Will you bite that hand that feeds? Will you do until it bleeds? Can you get up off your knees? Are you brave enough to see? Do you wanna change it? What if this whole crusade's a charade? And behind it all there's a price to be paid for the blood.
So the question I had to ask about, and interrupt 9 Inch Nails to ask, is that do they eat from the hand? Do they? I'm assuming they don't bite the hand that feeds, but do they eat like sugar cubes directly from the hand like a horse would? I've always wondered that. Always for the last couple of seconds.
Off your knees. Are you brave enough to see? Do you wanna change it? So naive, I keep holding on to what I wanna believe. I can see, but I keep holding on and on and on and Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees? Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees? Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees? Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees? Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees? Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees? Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees? Will you bite the hand that feeds you? Will you stay down on your knees?
I'm confused. Is he in favour of you biting the hand that feeds you and staying down on your knees? Which one? I'm just a little confused. That is the hand that feeds from 9 Inch Nails, or as they are often referred to as Nin. Nin shall pass. Sorry, I had to make up some sort of stupid joke, didn't I? So we've reached the bewitching hour of 8 o'clock, which is where you can find things get a little bit unplanned and a little bit silly in LJ After 8. But it is a section of online. Online is the Wednesday show, web show that I'm doing right now. And I can be found here doing it now. We've had the album in focus introduced on a Wednesday, so we've already done that. There is the new music that you can find, but we'll have more new music on Friday's web show. But I'm trying to work my way to promoting myself, and I'm just feeling a little bit probably insecure about doing so, as I'm not very good at doing so. If you wish to catch me again, I certainly hope that you do, then the same time slot you can find me doing some gaming on tomorrow's show. So between the hours of 6 and 8, or up until the unplanned finish of After 8, you will find me playing games and talking to you, focusing more on the chat as well. So there will be lots of stuff to talk about on tomorrow's show, which will also be backed up by this week's Remembering Retro. So we'll be telling you about that in just a moment. There is also Sunday's show. So Sunday's show is to mirror the hours and some that I used to do on a Sunday show, a Sunday morning show on the radio, because that's where my history and my training comes from. So on a Sunday, I used to do a Sunday morning shenanigans, and that was between the hours of 12 when it was just on the radio. But now it's still Sunday morning shenanigans, and you've got 2 extra hours to enjoy. So between 10 and 2 every Sunday you can find me for more of a mellow mix, but it's also a Sunday league. As the idea, I'm trying to build my own teams, sport teams. Any sorts of sports will do, as we will be playing football to start us off, but I'm looking to enlist players who are interested in joining the pro members part of the FIFA 19 football game. So that's the first one we're going to be starting off with, but there is no sports that are out of the question. There is no game that under the sun that I won't at least try once. You never know, twice if I like it. So with all of that said and done, and those shameless plugs happening, I do want to point out, please join the beautiful people in the chat room and follow some of those as well, because they are wonderful people, wonderful support from the Mixer community. I thank you so much for all of your support, continued support as well. So Thou Shalt Always Kill is our next song, and this is from Dan Lesec.
Right now, it's Too Naughty, the Noise Radio.
Thou shalt not steal if there is a direct victim. Thou shalt not worship pop idols or follow lost prophets. Thou shalt not take the names of Johnny Cash, Joe Strummer, Johnny Harmon, Desmond Decker, Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix or Sid Barrett in vain. Thou shalt not think any man over the age of 30 that plays with a child that is not their own is a paedophile. Some people are just nice. Thou shalt not read NME. Thou shalt not stop liking a band just because they become popular. Thou shalt not question Stephen Fry. Thou shalt not judge a book by its cover. Thou shalt not judge Lethal Weapon by Danny Glover. Thou shalt not buy Coca-Cola products. Thou shalt not buy Nestle products. Thou shalt not go into the woods with your boyfriend's best friend, take drugs and cheat on him. Thou shalt not fall in love so easily. Thou shalt not use poetry, art or music to get into girls' pants. Use it to get into their heads. Thou shalt not watch Hollyoaks. Thou shalt not attend an open mic and leave as soon as you've done your shitty little poem or song, you self-righteous prick. Thou shalt not return to the same club or bar, week in, week out, because you once saw a girl that you fancy, you're never going to fucking talk to anyway. Thou shalt not put musicians and recording artists on ridiculous pedestals, no matter how great they are or were. The Beatles were just a band. Led Zeppelin, just a band. The Beach Boys, just a band. The Sex Pistols, just a band. The Clash, just a band. Crass, just a band. Minor Threat, just a band. The Cure, just a band. The Smiths, just a band. Nirvana, just a band. The Pixies, just a band. Oasis, just a band. Radiohead, just a band. Block Party, just a band. The Arctic Monkeys, just a band. The Next Big Thing, just a band. That should give equal worth to tragedies that occur in non-English speaking countries as to those that occur in English speaking countries. That should remember that guns, bitches and bling were never part of the four elements and never will be. That should not make repetitive generic music. That should not make repetitive generic music. That should not make repetitive generic music. Should not make repetitive generic music. That shall not be my ride. That should not scream if you want to go faster. That should not move to the sound of the wickedness. That should not make some noise for Detroit. When I say hey, that should not say ho. When I say hip, that should not say hop. When I say he, say she, say we, say make some noise. Kill me. Why have we bothered re-recording this vocal? Thou shalt not quote me happy. Thou shalt not shake it like a Polaroid picture. Thou shalt not wish your girlfriend was a freak like me. Thou shalt spell the word Phoenix, P-H-E-O-N-I-X, not P-H-O-E-N-I-X, regardless of the Oxford English Dictionary tells you. Thou shalt not express your shock at the fact that Sharon got with Brad at the club last night by saying, is it? Thou shalt think for yourselves. And most importantly of all, thou shalt always kill.
So we're currently listening to Dan Lesec with Thou Shalt Always Kill. We've got plenty still to come, and Remembering Retro is just but one of them. Retro adverts coming up very shortly. So as I say, that is Thou Shalt Always Kill, and that is Dan Lesec. It is the one song before we move to our ad break. So we're going to have some In Excess that is keyed up for a song for us on today's set list, and then we're going to be talking to you about Remembering Retro. Remembering Retro will inspire tomorrow's Thursday Throwback, which the only inspiration for the Thursday Throwback is that the game that we play on tomorrow's stream cannot be brand new, we've released within the last 6 months, or released within the year that is currently on the calendar on the wall. So that's the only premise that we have, but we've also been tying it into the Remembering Retro from the Wednesday show, which is coming up in just a moment, so I'll be making more sense very shortly. So, some adverts, and then we'll be back with a song from In Excess, and that is On a Bus. That is the name of the song. Back in a minute. Don't go changing. We love you just the way you are.
The water in
Do you think it's all right to leave George there on his own? Oh, yeah. But aren't you afraid he might find your chocolate orange? No, I think it's quite safe.
Terry's famous chocolate orange. Smooth milk chocolate with real oil of orange. How safe is yours?
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've just seen the last instalment of the brand new retro adverts. Does that make any sense? Am I confusing myself? Yes, just a little bit. I had to adjust the sound volumes in my headset there. And I also realised that that advert for that game is going to play if I don't switch it off. So let's get those sorted as well. Bye-bye to them. Excellent. So I did promise you a song from In Excess. This was just before the band broke internationally. So this may be a song that you don't know very well, but we will be following this this song with a game that you might know very well as we move back to Remembering Retro in just a couple of moments. And that is an excellent advert, and you're absolutely spot on. It was Rab C. Nesbitt, and the programme, for those who don't know, is a Scottish programme where the man who you just seen at the last advert, he played the Rab C. Nesbitt character, the main character of the programme, and it was hilarious. Anyway, On a Bus, In Excess. Back in just a moment, telling you about, or reminding you about, Remembering Retro.
Another 24-hour chemist, self-gas. I said all these things that serve me well. I said all these things that serve me well. It's hypnotizing, it's never to sleep. No one talks to anyone else. It's frightening. Everybody's mind to blank. Oh, hypnotizing. I'm always using you when I'm out of cash. I stare through this window in the bus moving fast. I said all these things that It's hypnotizing. It's never to sleep. No one talks to anyone else. It's frightening. Everybody's mind to blank. Oh, hypnotizing. It's hypnotizing. It's never to sleep. No one talks to anyone else. It's frightening. Everybody's mind to blank. Oh, hypnotizing. Liquor market, lots of flats. Another 24-hour can't mess itself, yes. I said all these things to serve me well. I said all these things to serve me well, yeah. It's hypnotizing, it's never to sleep. No one talks to anyone else. It's frightening. Everybody's mind to blank. Oh, hypnotizing. Oh, da 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 da.
So that is the opening track to the very first album from the Australian rock band In Excess. That is On a Bus, taken from their self-entitled debut album, In Excess. So, what are we up to now? I've got Remembering Retro to turn to, and that would be the 8-bit gallery music, which would be required to do so. And we also have a trailer of sorts. We have gameplay to play for you. So that will be in this bottom corner where you've probably become used to seeing the trailers of the shows during the show. Well, we are going back to 1997. Yes, we move all the way back to in time, but not to find a series of small walls. No, we are looking back at a very excellent game that if you don't remember, then you probably know because it's still a huge game anyway. So I think this is my retro game, and there we go. We've got the gameplay there for you. Do you recognise it already? 1997's GTA. Yes, not GTA San Andreas or anything like that. It was just GTA back then. Grand Theft Auto. An action-adventure game, a sandbox game of its one of the very first of its type, really. The facts that I need to share with you is that it was 6 levels split between 3 main cities, and you had 8 playable characters. There was a 7.5 rating for this game, but it still stands up to today, as it has spawned many a sequel and has made Rockstar Games a household name. For some of those reasons would be for bad reasons, to be completely honest with you, as this was a game that caused quite a stink. It was rated 18 because of all the violence that you can pretty much do anything you want on this game. You do have a limit though, you have a limit on the amount of lives that you have. So that was something that they got rid of fairly quickly. Players must do jobs for criminal fraternities of each of the city to earn enough points to complete levels. That's basically the whole premise of this original Remembering Retro. Do you remember this version? Do you have fond memories of it? Or did it drive you a little crazy? Were you one of the ones who was calling for the 18 rated certificate? If you were, then please allow me to point out that this is an 18 rated stream. So if that doesn't suit you, then thank you very much for your interest and stopping by, but it will get worse. It does get worse on much days anyway, so do keep that in mind. That was our Remembering Retro for this week, and we have a connection to Throwback Thursday to announce as well. But I just need to take a second. So, Throwback Thursdays is between the hours of 6 and finishes sometime within the hour of 8 o'clock. we will be playing a Remembering Retro link, as we will be playing the most recent version of Grand Theft Auto, as I may be adding that into my stream at the moment. So I do stream games on a Monday, on a Thursday, and on a Sunday, and there are 2 web shows to be had as well. So obviously today's show, where you find online, but also on Friday where I present the bridge for you as well. So at the same time slot, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 till some point at the hour of 8 where we call it quits. And there is lots of features to be had. So if you want to join us tomorrow, it's more of a laid-back vibe on a gaming show, as I will be paying more attention to the chat, talking back with you and trying to spark conversation. That's the idea. I know I've got lots to talk to you about on a web show, as I try to share some of the passion that I have for music, as much as I possibly can, as I've always had the desire to do so ever since I've been recording songs off of the radio as a child. But it's okay, don't worry, it was with the explicit permission of those radio stations. I can't prove that, but you can't disprove it either. So let's move on with the show. Up next, we've got Jackson Browne with one of my favourite songs, Dr. My Eyes. Play, damn you! It's playing, there we go. Dr. My Eyes from the great Jackson Browne, who also has a connection to the artist behind the album in focus, which is Carole King. And Tapestry, we'll be back to that album on Friday.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand. I have done all that I could to see the evil and the good without hiding. You must help me if you can. Doctor, my eyes, tell me what is wrong. Was I unwise to leave them open for so long? 'Cause I have wandered through this world, and as each moment has unfurled, I've been waiting to awaken from these dreams. People go just where they will. I never noticed them until I got this feeling that it's later than it seems. Doctor, my eyes, tell me what you see. I hear their cries. Just say if it's too late for me. Doctor, my eyes, I cannot see the sky. Is this the price for having learned how not to cry?
So this is Jackson Browne with Dr. My Eyes. You're listening to episode 32 of Online, and you're also watching it, hopefully too, as I am here waving at you. Hello. Hello, I'm waving at you. We've got probably maybe, you'd think someone who's in control of it might have an idea, but no, it's a little bit more unplanned. So we may play 2 songs, we may play just the one, but I'm wrapping up today's show as pain is starting to get the better of me, but never the best. So I'm going to call it an evening very, very shortly. I've got a couple more songs I'd like to share with you, and then I want to encourage you to join me once again for my next show, which was which I mentioned earlier on, is on Thursday. There is also Friday and also Sunday, so you can choose any of those. There is also Monday, or in 7 days' time I'll be back here for another edition of Online, but it will be episode 33, as that's how numbers work. So we move on to Hall and Oates with the pun that I've just said a minute ago making sense by me going, this is 1-on-1. Makes sense now, doesn't it? I'm not just being a dickhead going, that's how numbers work. Now here is Hall and Oates. We've got another song keyed up, and then that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me for today's show. It means the world to me, and I cannot undersell that.
I'm tired of playing on the team. Ooh, it seems I don't get time out anymore. Would it change if we set the pace face to face? No one even tried to score. And I can feel the magic of your
So close. I see where you've gone there. What you've done is you've added 1 and 1 together. Actually, the answer was 11, but close enough.
understand, baby. Time out is what I'm here for. I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one, I know. I wanna play that one-on-one. I wanna play that game
It's 11, see?
one-on-one so slow.
Good sport, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Tell me you don't miss me, girl. No, I think I might know you too well. I wonder what you'd say if you knew that I was coming tonight. I want you, can't you tell? One-on-one, I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one, I know. I wanna play that one-on-one. I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one so slow. Ooh, that's all you need to know now. But if it's really right, there's nothing else. I wanna play that game tonight.
Okay, I am going to interrupt at this point, mainly because the way he says 1 and 1, is it just me, or does it always make anybody else think of when trumpets have that little wah hat? Wah, wah. Just me? Okay, I thought so. Anyway, that's the way he sings. That always makes me think of trumpets. But it is 1 and 1 from Daryl and John, although they are better known as with their last names. But let's not talk about them on that sense, as I'm on first name basis with them. So we've got one more song before I'm calling it quits. So it just leads me to introduce the fact that the last song comes from Queen. And thank you so much for joining me on today's stream. It means the world to me, whether you're watching it live or watching it back at a later date. If you are watching it back at a later date and you're on Twitch or YouTube, may I recommend Mixer, because Mixer do not edit my videos, and I cannot claim the same for the other fuckers. For the other platforms, is what I said. That's what I said, yeah. So, hence the reason why I am a Mixer fanboy, but I also like to try and get my stream out there as much as possible. So we do also stream or restream on Twitch and YouTube. My last song is from Queen. It's a Hard Life will be the last track, but if you wish to join me, there is tomorrow for Throwback Thursday, the same time slots as you found today. Same time slot as you found today. You will also find me on for Friday for the next instalment of The Bridge. There is Sunday, and there is also a schedule beneath in the list below, and I point that out if you're on Twitch and on Mixer. You will find this. You should find the schedule below. It's not available on the YouTube channel, but then I'll get around to it at some point soon. What else was I going to say? On tomorrow's stream we'll be playing some GTA. We may also be playing some GTA on Friday, as I have a unscheduled, unplanned, penciled in maybe co-stream coming up. So that I will be keeping you up to date on via my Twitter feed, and that will be the best place to be kept up to date about what it is I'm up to and what you can expect from me in the coming weeks. It's also where I publish my poetry and talk to you about art and all sorts of things. So there is not just what you have found on today's show will you be bombarded with. You'll be bombarded with all kinds of other stuff too. So if that appeals, please follow me over on Twitter. I would certainly appreciate that, and any likes and retweets for the new and old stuff that you found on today's show is also appreciated, not just by me but the artists behind them. So take care of yourselves, whatever your plan is for the rest of the week. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves and be lucky, ladies and gentlemen. We will be passing over the host to the Devil's Son, who was in chat. I believe he is still streaming some Destiny, so we're going to be passing over the stream to him after we've enjoyed this very last song of the show. Take care of yourselves, and as I like to say, be lucky until we meet again.
This is a tricky situation. I've only got myself. It's just a simple fact of life. It can happen to anyone. You win, you lose. It's a chance you have to take with love. Oh yeah, I fell in love, but now you say it's over, and I'm falling apart. It's a hard life to be true lovers together, to love and live forever in each other's hearts. It's a long, hard fight to learn to care for each other, to trust in one another right from the start. When you're in love. I try and mend the broken pieces. I try to fight back the tears. They say it's just a state of mind, but it happens to everyone. How it hurts deep inside when your love has got you down inside. It's like we're stuck on your own. Now I'm waiting for something to fall from the skies. I'm waiting for love. It's a hard life. Two lovers together, to love and live forever in each other's hearts. It's a long, hard fight to learn to care for each other, to trust in one another right from the start. When you're in love. always live for tomorrow. I look back on myself and say, I did it for love. Yes, I did it for love. For love. Oh, I did it for love.
You're listening to Online here on OJTV. A Wednesday wander in a wacky world of wonders. Thank you for your time.